I want to introduce you to Matt Tydeman, who's the CEO of Imaginators. Give Matt a round of applause. Hi, Matt. Welcome.
Nice suit.
Thank you. Nice whistle, as they say. I've worked with Matt on and off now for quite a long time. So much so, in fact, I must just reference this, that we had a very tough moment together sitting in your office about a week before lockdown, when we were sitting together talking about business, and then gradually it dawned on us that Matt's business, which he will elaborate on, was heading into a tough time through lockdown and the cancellation of festivals and the like. And I remember we sat there just kind of thinking like, oh my God, this is going from bad to worse. But we both weathered it. He weathered it superbly well, and here we are. And part of the story we want to tell is kind of predicated in pre and post lockdown, because what changed from a waste point of view, it almost had that barrier, didn't it, between pre and post lockdown. But anyway, so Matt, do tell everybody a little bit about Imaginators, which is a superb business.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Imaginators, a business that is nearly 45 years old and is a print production company, really. We operate some of the world's largest digital printing equipment. And we deliver our services into some quite unique spaces. But the core ones for us are live events, music festivals, and sport. And it's not until you step back a little and look at all of those things, they use large format print immensely everywhere. A music festival, for example, will, as you are enjoying, you're seeing your band from the crowd and the audience, that whole visual aspect of the stage is delivered by us. And as is sport, many of you, if you're sports lovers, you will be going to lots of sports stadiums and you'll see lots of large graphics everywhere, Wembley Stadium being one of them. And all of these graphics we supply through a variety of different technologies that we use. By virtue of what we do, everything being large, and equally by virtue of some of the events that we deliver into, they're very short term, often just a weekend or sometimes even just a day, they can be quite wasteful. In our manufacturing process, but equally once it's finished, what happens with it? And this is something we've been very conscious of for some time. We've had clients that have wanted to try and find a solution. It didn't really exist, and we were pushing and doing lots of research. As Roger's alluded to, is just before the pandemic, we used the time very wisely, the pandemic, to do lots of research. Lots of new products came to the market, and it put us in a much stronger position as we came out of the pandemic to really offer a solution to our clients.
So when we started talking, and this is way before pandemic, I mean, basically, I'm paraphrasing and crudely, but basically the waste went into a skip and off to landfill. It wasn't a uppermost important thought to either you or to the clients particularly. I remember we talked about you saying that it was almost an addendum on requests for information and tenders that was kind of, what's your sustainability strategy? But you rather smartly, in my opinion, started to look at that as not just a cost to the business and something you had to do, but actually something you could turn into a positive about it. And you developed, and I hope this is going to work, and it never does. Go forward, Roger. Okay, that's not working. Now I've got to go back. Apologies, we'll edit that out. I'll start again. So rather smartly, you developed a new brand, which you call Loop. So share a little bit about that, because I think this is great what you've done here.
Yeah, so the products didn't exist, and when we could see them come into the market, we really wanted to be in front of these new products and really be in a position we could drive them to our clients. And lots of the products that were coming through were beginning to be biodegradable, contain no PVC, or were made from recycled products. And that was this spark for me at the moment, was that I had this array of new materials that we could use. We were testing quite extensively during lockdown because we had no music festivals and no sport to deliver for clients, so we really did use that time very well to put our R&D behind it. But with this portfolio of products that we could push, it meant that I needed to look at the next step. And as Roger says, we essentially, previously, it would just go into a variety of waste skips outside. We did pay a premium for it to be sorted by our waste provider.
I said a lot of it crudely, I'd put that in.
Yeah, but essentially that's what happened. And they sorted it, and it went for waste for energy, landfill. And that's really how it was. And that was something I wanted to change, because I changed it at the front and I wanted to change the middle bit. But then I leapfrogged that and found a solution at the end where we could take our product in, we could sort it because we take in a huge array of different materials. And we could sort it, and we found a recycling partner that could take our products in and put it into really what I call, in layman's terms, a giant shredder.
Yeah.
And they shred these materials up and turn it into a byproduct.
Yeah.
So we were taking in recycled materials at the front. There was a piece in the middle that I'd missed out in my explanation previously. A music festival with Reading and Leeds has just finished for us. It's huge. 2 sites, 12 stages. It's a big event for us. And a lot of this comes back, and often it's reused the following year. But often there'll be a new sponsor. The BBC recently changed their logo, so it meant everything had to be changed.
Yeah.
And this happens frequently in our industry. In media, this happens a lot. Branding change, colour schemes change. And it meant that this big recycling engine was just continuing over and over again. So we found that if we weren't taking the materials back to be reused another year, we wanted to find a way to recycle it. And we found this shredding process, essentially, that produced a resin at the end of it that would put it into a secondary product.
Yeah.
So then we had this loop system where we were taking in recycled materials, printing on it, very environmentally friendly. We have very low energy use. We use very, very environmentally friendly inks in our processes. Then we would put everything now through to this loop system of shredding. And we now have one very small container outside our business unit. It gets collected far less than it ever did do. Before it was weekly and sometimes twice a week.
Yeah.
Now it may be just once fortnightly or once a month.
Yeah.
So the waste has completely changed, and we're now generating this byproduct once we're finished with our material.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Hence the loop system.
Yeah, which is really smart. And there's some designers out there in this audience who'll be thinking the same way I am, that clients need to stop changing their logos because it has a huge knock-on effect in waste. One of the things that the EBN is very, very pro is to be able to say there is a premium, a green premium, if you like, to doing things the right way, but there has to be an upside to it. Have you found clients are more interested in you as a business? Is it helping to win tenders? Because you've got Loop? Is it?
Yeah, I was scratching my head as to how I was going to make this pay for itself because it was coming at a cost.
Yeah.
And that's actually something we charge back to clients. And we charge a percentage of our end invoice to our client as a recycling fee. And we haven't had one client that has questioned it. All of them are on board with it. And it means that we've removed their headache away from them.
Yes.
But actually, we've created another revenue stream for us because now I'm having a percentage on that bottom invoice value to the client that I'm managing effectively and turning it and recycling it into another product on their behalf.
Yeah.
So I've taken a headache away from the client. I've actually found another revenue stream, and I reduced my waste.
Yeah.
In doing so at the same time.
Yeah, it's almost circular how it works, really, isn't it?
You can see where I went with it.
Yeah. But and one of the things I think will happen from your business more and more as well is that brand differentiation. Because you come up against some pretty big beasts out there in the market, don't you, that are part of major marketing groups. The Loop will give you that brand differentiation.
I think it already has done. We've just started to push it because we've kind of emerged from a pandemic. We've kind of taken all our knowledge that we've learned during lockdown, have now delivered all these new products to our clients, and we're offering this service now to all of them. And it's been received very, very well.
Yeah, brilliant. Absolutely great story. So a few weeks ago, I've been up there a few times, but I took a camera crew up to have a little look round in Matt's manufacturing place. So we'll probably move back, but we'll let you have a little look on the, I've been told I did click this twice. So.
Imaginators, we are a large format print production company. We are almost 50 years old. That's a family business, independent, but we specialise in large format, these being sport, music festivals, live events, film and television.
So here we are down in production, Matt, and we've talked about saying that one of the challenges you've got in your industry is what comes in from the supply chain and the raw materials. How has that changed over the recent past?
Quite significantly. This is a good example of a material that has come to market. We use it quite extensively. Previously, this wouldn't have been a corrugated board. It would have been some foam-centred board or possibly a polycarbonate centre. But unfortunately, that wouldn't have been such an environmental route to go down, where this is an environmental product as it comes into us, and equally can then be recycled as part of loop when it leaves us. All of our presses now are quite cutting edge when it comes to environmental. The main driver for us is their energy use, and the inks that we use. The material comes through and the head carriage moves across it and delivers the ink. The ink itself is very environmentally friendly, but equally how it's cured is with a UV lamp, which is very low energy. Previously, we would have used a solvent ink, which is not environmentally friendly, and we would have used lots of heat to dry it, which is, again, very wasteful. When it exits here, this is finished and dry and ready to go. What you can actually see is the image down the centre of the material, and this area here is our waste, our byproduct. This would have been something that would have previously gone into the skip, whereas now this is actually going into our loop recycling program. This is our segregation. As you can tell, as the waste product that comes off of manufacturing, this is where we'll split our materials up into the different categories. And just for simplicity, everything is colour-coded, numbered, and even listed as to what goes in it. So there's no mistaking. Because of the process of loop, we can't have different materials mixing with different materials. So it's important that we get segregation right from the start.
And this is a combination of excess material here and stuff that's come back off site, for example, is that?
Yeah, so at the moment what we're seeing is our waste product through our manufacturing process, but when it comes back equally we've got similar bins that it would be sorted, collated and put into ready to go off to be recycled. Segregated waste is left outside for collection. The labelling continues with our segregated waste houses. There's no mistake when it gets to its destination. So we're using the same colour coding scheme. Quite indicative that all of this waste previously would have gone to a skip. So that's kind of shows you where we were and where we now are.
Excellent stuff, great stuff. And these babies here are the actual the produce, aren't they? So talk us through what goes on with these.
Yeah, so when it goes off to be shredded, it goes through a process. The pulp that comes out the other end is turned into a resin. Straight at the back end of the resin is a mould that moulds traffic cones, sleeping policemen, a variety of traffic calming, because it's such a hard, durable byproduct that comes out at the end. And this is what it's turning into, and that's technically who we partnered with, because they previously would have been buying in all this material in its raw form to turn into the resin. They turn it into a pellet first. Whereas we've saved them a complete revenue stream because we're giving them our waste. So it's actually helped them out at the same time.
It's really, really smart. I think, and highways and the likes, I can see the name of people on this that are going to be consuming these by the bucket load of them. So, I mean, it is genuine circular economy happening, isn't it? So it's, I just think it's a great story, which is why I wanted to get Matt to share this with you tonight, because there are lots of organisations right away across the world, I guess, but UK here, that are doing this sort of stuff, really smart thinking. And partly what we need to do as the EBN is to make that joined up so that the bigger organisations can tap into the smaller ones where, on the whole, the innovation starts and germinates and grows is business the size of Matt's. I don't mean that as it's a small business, but it's in that supply chain. So I just thought this was a fantastic story. And Matt, thank you very much. I know it was stressful getting here because of the trains. You weren't alone on that. So thanks very much for coming in. And Matt Tydeman, everybody.
Thank you.